Hello, this is a video about forming the simple past of verbs of group A. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to show you, I have explained it here, is we're going to work with verbs that will have a sa at the end. Let me write it here. So these verbs we'll be looking at today will end with sa in the simple past. So γύρισα, let's say έδεσα, etc. Now, not in ψ and xi. The reason I chose sa is, well, there are two reasons. One is that the verbs of group B also end in sa, although there is a little detail there that I don't want to introduce this today. Okay, but notice, like μιλάω will be μίλησα, αγαπάω, αγάπησα, etc. Okay, so they also end in sa, so this is the most common ending. And the second reason is that, well, let's start with something easy, learn that well. Okay, and for now, even if you take a verb that would normally end with xi, like let's say πήδηξα, and you say πήδησα, it doesn't sound terribly wrong. Okay, with ψ it doesn't really work like that. But again, let's focus today on these verbs. Okay. Now, many of these verbs that end with sa in the simple past, I'm talking about the first person singular. Okay, in the present will be in iso or in no. Yeah, let's say χάνω, yeah, or ποτίζω. To give two examples, let me write them down. Χάνω will become έχασα, and ποτίζω will become πότισα. Okay. So let me go through it as in a detailed way. Let's see it in a detailed way. So let's say you have a verb like γυρίζω. Okay, first thing you have to do is to find the stem, and actually I should have written this here. So okay, so this is the stem, right? So this is a verb in the first person. So of course, to find the stem, you remove the final omega. So basically, remember, to find the stem, what you have to do is remove the ending. You don't know the stem of a verb, but you know the endings, okay? Because the endings are common in group A. All verbs of group A have the same endings. So you find the ending, you take it out, what is left is the stem. Okay, another thing that can help you with that, if you have difficulty, the ending either is a vowel or starts with a vowel in group A, and the stem always ends with a consonant. Now, some people get confused here because you have verbs like δουλεύω, okay, and they're like, wait, but this is not a consonant. Well, actually here it is pronounced like a consonant. Okay, so yes, this is your ending, which is a vowel in this case. This is your stem, and this stem ends with a V sound. This is a consonant. I could write this in Greek like this, right? It's not the correct spelling, but it would be exactly the same sound. And now I think you can clearly see that now this is actually a consonant. So be careful with verbs that end with evo. Yes, they are group A, and they do end with a consonant in their stem. It's just that the consonant is this epsilon here. Okay, once you've done this, so you see, we said here, this is γυρίζω, we take out omega, what is left is the stem. You see, now we have our stem here. Now, what we do next is we replace the last consonant of the stem with an S. Okay, so what is the last consonant of the stem here? Is this Z. I take it out, I put an S instead. And that's it. Now I have the stem. Now what I have is the perfective stem. And this is the stem I will use for the simple past. Okay, if you are not used to this terminology, let me say it as simply as possible. Greek verbs have two stems, one for completed actions, another is used for habits, continuous actions, or repetitive actions, and yeah, this. Okay, the other one is used for habits and repetitive or long actions. Okay, so for the simple past, we want the stem that is for completed actions, one completed action. Okay, and now we have it. This is our stem here. Now what we have to do now, we go to number 3 and we count. And we say, well, 1, 2. So I have 2 syllables here. Now, be careful here, don't include the ending. With this verb, giris, it doesn't matter, but with other verbs, it does matter, and it will lead you to errors. Now here, since I have, actually, sorry, I wrote this badly, if one syllable, yeah, if I have just one syllable, I'm sorry for this mistake, add an E to the stem, at the beginning of the stem. If not, and this is what we have now, we have more than one syllable, I move the stress to the left, and this is what I did here, right? And the last thing is I add the ending of the past. So we have here the endings of the past. I want to make this verb in the first person, so I just add an A, gύρισα. If I want the first plural, I would say γυρίσαμε. Now, be careful here, because what happens, you might have noticed I said γυρίσαμε, is the stress changes in the first and second plural, because the ending has 2 syllables. Yeah, let me write it to make it clear what's happening. Γυρίσαμε. And the second plural will be γυρίσατε. Okay, so in this case, I'll give you an extra rule. The stress goes to the third syllable from the end. Okay. I didn't want to add it to the top, not to avoid making it too complicated, but if you want to form other persons, yeah, I cannot put the stress here because it would be at the fourth syllable from the end, and this in general in Greek is avoided. You try not to put the stress on the fourth syllable from the end. So I will move the stress to the right, and it will be now on the third syllable from the end. Okay. So now let's have some other verbs to practice. Yeah. So if you want, what you can do now is you can pause the video. I will copy this, delete this stuff from here. Okay. And you can pause it and see if you can find the answers. Okay, now let's have a look. Let's start with δένω. First of all, what I would like you to notice is that this would work exactly the same way if I had δένουμε. Okay, so notice, let's say I took δένουμε or δένεται or any other person in the singular, in the present, yeah? Not the singular, singular and plural, as long as it is present, yeah? Whether I take δένω or δένουμε, what would be the stem? The stem should be this one here, yeah? Okay, now I notice it's only one syllable, so I will have to add this e at the beginning, and then I add the endings, yeah, έδαινα, έδαινες, έδαινε, etc. Now notice, however, another detail with these verbs with the stress and this epsilon. The e can appear only if it is stressed. So again, in the first and second plural, you don't have this. Okay, this is not possible because again it's on the fourth syllable. Okay, you could have that. Okay, this is actually a form in Older Greek, so you keep the e, although it's not stressed anymore, and the stress goes to the third syllable from the end. In general, in the past of Greek verbs, in the active voice, that's how it works. Third syllable from the end. Yeah. So here everything seems to be working except from this thing. The e is not stressed. Now in Older Greek this would appear. Now it's considered old-fashioned, at least in Standard Greek. It still appears in some dialects, and it also appears in more formal Old Greek, especially written. Okay, so what I want to say, although this is not strictly speaking a mistake, δέναμε, I would avoid it. If I were you, I would avoid this. This δέναμε sounds a lot more natural. Okay, so again, as we saw with the other verbs, the verbs that have more than one syllable and move the stress to the right to avoid getting stress on the fourth one, these verbs here that have just one syllable at the stem, what happens is we remove the e when it's not stressed. Okay, now the others I will do it faster, so it will be πότισα, έχισα, έψισα. Yeah. Now that's it in terms of this. Let me just go through a verb in all the persons so that you see it. And let me start. Let's take ψήνω again. I would like to take it in the third plural, you know, just to see how it works with a different person. Again, the stem would be the same. This ψήν, yeah. So nothing changes. And I will have έψισα, yeah, έψισες. This should be fairly obvious. I'm just adding the ending here, yeah. Έψισε. Now it's important, drop the e. Ψήσαμε, ψήσατε, έψισαν. And now I will also have a verb, give you a full verb, but that has more than one syllable in the stem. So I will take, I'm sorry, and I also noticed, I just noticed it, I made a mistake here, yeah. Δέσαμε. Yeah, it should be έδεσα and δέσαμε. I'm sorry for this. Here now it will be, actually let's take πότισα. Πότισα, πότισες, πότισε, ποτίσαμε, ποτίσατε, and πότισαν. Notice here that again I changed the stress in the first and second plural because the ending has two syllables, and that's it.